else? Think about this too. You were talking about, well, you don't like to have a cocktail during dinner. How about you have one of these and then you have an espresso martini?
Exactly.
You know, or you have a mocktini and then a cocktail.
Celebrating dry January. Welcome to Pocono Mountains Podcast, everyone. This is Season 4, Episode 35. I'm your host, Jim Hamill. It's a new year, and a popular way to start off 2025 is with a break from alcohol. Sure, we have lots of options for those who want locally brewed beers, poured wines, and spirits on the Pocono Beverage Trail. But there are plenty of ways our restaurants are serving up mocktails for January and all throughout the year. The mixologists at the Frogtown Chop House, Shimsa, and Sycamore Grill are taking care of folks looking to have something special without the buzz. And Brianna sampled some of those mocktails on our January Pocono Mountains magazine with Eric at the Frogtown Chop House. That discussion in just a bit. The Poconos is a year-round destination for millions, with 2,400 square miles of mountains, forests, lakes, and rivers, with historic downtowns and iconic family resorts. It's the perfect getaway. You can always find out more on PoconoMountains.com or watch PTN, the Pocono Television Network, streaming live 24/7. Now back to the episode. Brianna joined 3 locations in the Poconos with mocktails on the menu. Here she is in a longer discussion with Eric Noon at the Frogtown Chop House. Enjoy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Pocono Mountains Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brianna Strung. We are talking dry January and outstanding mocktails that you can have in the Pocono Mountains. Today, we are with Eric Noon with the Frogtown Chop House in Cresco. He knows a thing or two about mocktails. So, Eric, thanks for sitting down with us today.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay, what is a mocktail and why are they so popular?
They are extremely popular and they are really, truly, Brianna, they are growing in strength more and more every year and every day, it seems like. It is as simple as a cocktail without alcohol. So a 0 proof is a mocktail.
Okay, and who's drinking mocktails? Like, there's an array of reasons why someone wants to indulge in a mocktail when they go out.
I'll tell you right now, it's everybody, to be totally honest. It could be as simple as, I had a Christmas party, I partied too hard, but I have a really big dinner with a client. So instead of drinking, I'm going to have a mocktail because it creates that same vibe. Here at the Chop House, we're actually craft creating mocktails. So it's not cranberry, pineapple, and lime wedge, which was kind of made famous in the 1950s. That's where that whole piece came out. I call it the OG mocktails, of course, the Roy Rogers and the Shirley Temple. Now we're crafting them. So when you get it or you're sipping on it, it looks, sometimes even tastes close to a cocktail. Then other than that, I think it's health. If I would be honest, the number one right now, I think, is health. People are so health conscious. People are drinking less. That's across the board. So mocktails fill that gap.
And I totally get that too, because I do not like to have alcohol while sitting down for dinner, but you do want something that maybe resembles that, adds the ambiance and the experience. So a mocktail might be great for dinner. I mean, that's personally when I would indulge in one.
Absolutely. Because if we remember, I think when I was younger, I'm in my 40s, but I remember when it was an O'Doul's or it was this NA beer. And then a craft cocktail wasn't even a thing. It was a cranberry, pineapple, orange juice. And there wasn't even wine. Now they're actually wine as well. They take the alcohol out of wine. Now you can have, there's tons of NA beers. There's tons of alcohol removed wine. There's tons of non-alcoholic spirits. But what I get more excited about is now this craft movement in the mocktail, where we're not using something that's batched or something I buy at the store. My team is actually making it, every ingredient, thinking about it, getting the taste profiles as intense, if not more intense, than we do for our alcohol cocktails.
We're putting together a segment for our next episode of Pocono Mountains magazine about outstanding mocktails in the Pocono Mountains, which brought us here to the Frogtown Chop House in Cresco. And we're actually sipping on some mocktails. We are sipping on them
as we speak.
Yes. So tell us about the 2 that you've given us a little sneak peek of for today.
Certainly. So we have a fun one, and of course we play on the name. We have the Espresso Tini. One of the hottest drinks right now in the United States is the espresso martini. We sell them here so much we actually batch them. So we said, hey, wait a second, let's make this same taste profile, but let's do it with a mocktail. So we have espresso. Now you don't have to have the machine, right? So if you have, there's some really good instant espressos. Cream, we prefer heavy cream because it has that feel, that mouth feel. Then we make a cinnamon syrup. That's our secret ingredient sign of it. And then we shake it like crazy, and it really resembles that. And that's more on the sweeter side. We're giving you that sweet side. A touch of vanilla extract in there gives you the essence of the booze, the thought of that on your tongue. So that's kind of what rounds that out. And then the other one is way more on the side of tart, boozy feel. It's our Mocktail. So we take a house blend of teas. I suggest not going too far on the side of like orange or hibiscus. We actually want it to be bitter. So we take a tea, we do lemon, lime, and a touch of cranberry, and a honey syrup for a bit of sweetness. But that cocktail is way more bitter and way more booze-like.
And that one I could definitely taste like the freshly brewed tea.
Correct.
And this one, I know you said heavy cream in it, but it really does taste so light. It's something that I could, indulge in within a few seconds.
Right. And you know what else? Think about this too. You're talking about, well, you don't like to have a cocktail during dinner. How about you have one of these and then you have an espresso martini?
Exactly.
Or you have a mocktail and then a cocktail.
So today we're talking about 2 mocktails on the menu, but you really do have a whole menu of mocktails, and every time someone comes into the Frogtown Chop House, they can indulge in a different mocktail.
Yeah, they can anytime. Yeah, we do about 4 menu revisits a year. So this, again, we're putting as much passion behind our mocktails as our cocktails. So we will reinvent 4 times a year our mocktail list.
Amazing. And we were talking a few years ago, like you used to actually have mocktails bottled. Like I feel like before the mocktail became super popular and explosive, you guys were already there, kind of catering to the crowd.
Yeah, you had to see it. We watch the trends on the beverage and food side, so I'm watching it continuously because it's super important to kind of know what's going on and stay ahead of the trend. We like to be really proud that in the Poconos, we like to try to be that restaurant that somebody's going to say, hey, did you see what Frogtown was doing? And then emulate it 6 months to a year later. That's what we want to be. So with that is, of course, studying, trending, seeing what's new, seeing what's hot. I started to see bars in New York City. This is where when I go to trending, it's Manhattan, right? That's the hottest place, Manhattan and Vegas. That's kind of where you see Miami. I started seeing bars pop up. They called them mocktail bars. And I was like, this is insanity. This will never work. This will never happen. Well, we started to see the trend rise and alcohol sales dip. And once we started to see that, that's when we really focused hard on our mocktail scene. And it also worked perfectly, coincided with our GM's baby. So she was pregnant going, I can't be around you knuckleheads all the time. We're driving her to drink, but she can't drink because she's pregnant. So she kind of looked into it as well, and we just haven't stopped since.
And tell us a little bit more about the history of mocktails, because I think of something like the Shirley Temple. I know you mentioned the non-alcoholic beers.
Yeah, and it starts, wildly enough, it starts before that. It starts in the temperance era, which is the early to late 19th century. And it was really put forth by women who were saying, we have to stop drinking. They really felt that it was ruining men and they were ripping families apart. So they started to play around with things called shrubs, which is actually they're even becoming popular again. And it's a vinegar base. And it really is pretty unusual and wild to the taste buds. Then they did that. Then, of course, Prohibition, 20s to the 30s. Alcohol's out. That's when they brought juices, sodas, lemon lime to make these pineapple juice. That's where that started. The 50s is where the OGs came in, right? That's where the Shirley Temple and the Roy Rogers. And then, of course, the 80s, you start to branch out to the corporate, right? Now the chains begin. So that's when you started seeing mocktails more out there. And then the big change, when it all, to what we know today, didn't start until about 2010. And what happened in 2010? 2010 was the first of the word, I'm air quoting here, you can't see me, but dry January. When dry January became popular and America became health conscious and the world became health conscious, that's when bars started to say, hey, let's make craft mocktails and/or let's bring in craft mocktail spirits. And it has not stopped, and it has grown. In 2024 now, like I said, there are tons of bars, tons of cities where you have mocktail bars, where if you ordered a drink, you're like, huh? So again, it went from catering designated drivers, kids, pregnant women, to catering the entire society. So watch out. Mocktails are here. They're here to stay.
And we talk about dry January, you know, people have New Year's resolutions,
Yep.
but mocktails are really being enjoyed throughout the year, not just one month.
There is, it's on our menu year round. It works for us year round. Anybody can drink it anytime. And again, that's that health side and also the social side. Coming out of COVID, we were so pent up, right? And I think during COVID, when you were at home, we did see a spike in tons of drinking. The alcohol sales spiked at that moment. Afterwards, it really dove because people were like, oh my goodness, I ate too much, I drank too much, now I'm out in public again. Mm-hmm. But you still, there's a vibe when you're out. You wouldn't go out to eat, right, to a restaurant and not eat food. You wouldn't fake eat air, right? It's just like when you go out, eating and drinking coincides. Mm-hmm. So why not make it coincide, but take the drug out of it and have a mocktail?
And there really is a lot of thought and expertise that goes into this. It really does look like a high quality cocktail, just minus the alcohol. So a lot of time and prepping and thought goes into it.
Absolutely. We garnish it the same way. I mean, it's garnished the same as our espresso martini. We garnish it the same way. Of course, we put in like the straw in it if it is the mocktail, so they know not to take it to the table because it does look that close. Mm-hmm. You know, and it was just something you have to watch out for. Our service team, our bartender will always make sure we mark the non-alcoholics because they look so darn like it. And because the taste profile, even on the mocktail, can be so alcohol taste like that you can get in a little bit of trouble. Mm-hmm. So always mark it and pay attention. It's same as an allergy. Because you want to really, for some people especially, right, if you don't want to drink alcohol, maybe you've stopped for your life for whatever reason, we don't want to be the place that makes that mistake, just like we don't want to serve a food allergy. So we pay attention. Again, it's that intense.
We spend a lot of time bringing viewers and listeners of Pocono Mountains podcast and Pocono Mountains magazine to our wineries and breweries on our Pocono Beverage Trail. But there really are a lot of places where you can have outstanding mocktails as well. The Frogtown Chop House being one of them. But you know that there is a mocktail scene here. If people are visiting the Poconos, they can find a mocktail. Yeah.
You know, sure, maybe we were a couple of years behind, which is okay. We do kind of trend behind. But we're here now. I know my friends at some other bars and restaurants absolutely do it, and some even delve in even more than we do, and make it a bigger part of their menu. So yeah, when you're coming to the Poconos, check it out.
Yep. And tell us what the Frogtown Chop House has to offer besides the amazing mocktails.
Yeah, right. So don't worry, you can come here and drink. Of course, we have a full bar. Right now, we're in our seasonal time of year, so we're open Tuesday through Saturday. Happy hour Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, we open at 5. You know, we offer full, it's a steakhouse. We're an American steakhouse. We're not rewriting the brand on that. We know what it is. You know, we like the famous saying, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Meat and potatoes done in an elegant way. We pay attention to quality. Our chefs are paying attention to ingredients and how they're making everything. Our hosts are paying attention to unreasonable hospitality, our service team, and, you know, our beverage, everything is thought out. So that's what we try to do. And again, I want to be the restaurant, Brandon, that you say, wait, the Chop House was doing that a year before because we're passionate, we're paying attention. And the owners and, you know, my partner and I really pay attention to that. And, you know, I love hospitality so much. My whole career, I'm 25 years in this, and I'm only 27. You like that one? I'll be here all night. Try the deal. But, you know, so it's my career, it's my life. And I want you to feel that when you walk in the door.
And when people always ask me, what's a restaurant you recommend in the Poconos? I always do recommend the Frogtown Chop House because you have that elevated style, that delicious menu, but it's also not something that you have to dress to the nines for, that it feels super stuffy. It's like you really get the best of both worlds here.
Yeah, that's what we try to do, try to create the home. I said this earlier when we were chatting. You know, when you walk through that door, you're entering my house. And we try to position ourselves in every moment in hospitality to make you feel that way. Like one thing I'm trying to tackle, and it drives me nuts, when you walk into the restaurant, like every restaurant, there's a host stand. Mm-hmm. How many times have somebody walked into your house and you stand behind a stand?
Yeah, that's true.
Never. Yeah. So that's annoying me. And that was something that was made super famous by a guy named Will Guidara. And he got rid of his, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that here. I haven't figured that out yet, but we'll see. So I'm always trying to reinvent. I want you to walk into my house.
Yeah, that's amazing. And for people who are listening, maybe haven't been to the Pocono Mountains in a while or looking to plan that trip, you are very conveniently located, just a stone's throw from Mount Airy Casino Resort.
Yep.
Great Wolf Lodge, Kalahari Resorts and Conventions. So you are pretty close. Tell everyone.
Yeah,
where
and
you're
Camelback.
located.
I mean, we're right there.
Camelback.
So we are, that's why we say we just love it. We're just far enough away, right? We're about 15 minutes from everything you mentioned and only 1 minute from Mount Airy. I always say if I could really get into a drive, I can almost hit it to the back steps of Mount Airy Lodge through the woods, but I can't drive that far. So whatever. So maybe a drive and a 3-wood. But no, so we're right there in the mix. We're in Cresco. I like to call it the heart of the Poconos, and the hospitality in this immediate area within 30 minutes of us is so hot right now. I say the only one that can really still get us is Philly, maybe a little bit of Pittsburgh, but we're coming for both of them. This is the spot.
And you do say that with a very educated background because you're heavily involved in PRLA, Pennsylvania
Absolutely.
Restaurant and Lodging Association.
Yes, which just had our conference, our statewide conference was in the Poconos at the beautiful Kalahari, and it was the largest attended shout out Northeastern chapter of the PRLA.
It was a great event. Over
awesome.
300 people were
Oh
in
yeah,
attendance, right?
right about 4:15.
Yeah, it was great.
It was awesome. Yeah, I had
It
fun
really
seeing
was
you.
great. And, with that
I
background,
did
that
not
you
have
had-
any mocktails though.
No
I
mocktails.
was definitely drinking there.
Okay, well, we'll make sure to get some mocktails.
I need some mocktails. Yes.
But make sure that we can differentiate which one's the mocktail
Touche.
and which one's the cocktail.
Touche.
But you did say something to me earlier that I thought was really important and impressive. With your background in PRLA, you kind of know what hospitality and the food and beverage industry looks like across Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that the Poconos is really up there as one of the top. Tell me why.
Without a doubt. I think it's because how we're positioned, right? So it's now the resurgence. I grew up here. I left for about 12 years, but I did grow up here, and I passionately came back when I met my wife to have kids. But we were in a real tough time because what had happened is we got rid of the honeymoon and we didn't make enough changes to see what was happening around. They weren't forecasting what was happening. And we were a little bit late to the game, so it really hit that downward spiral. Then the family resorts came back, and we are in that right now. They are not only back, they are growing, and we love them and love having them around here. But I think it's just more, the operators in this area now are just more passionate. We're hungry in the Poconos. We want you to know that we're delivering an incredible brand here. And we're only an hour and a half from Manhattan, 2 hours from Philly. What are we, 3 hours from DC? I mean, it's insane. We're a stone's throw from everywhere, so we got to step up our game.
Yeah.
And it is being said that some cities are seeing a lowering of expectations in the cities, and now the boroughs are starting to, their F&B programs are starting to skyrocket and get better.
Well, speaking of the Frogtown Chop House, too, if somebody wants to learn more, maybe make a reservation, how can they do so?
Absolutely. The easiest way is I always take you right to thefrogtownchophouse.com. That's going to tell you everything you need to know. And of course, you can also make reservations. You can join our royalty loyalty. You can check out menu changes and all that good stuff. And of course, Facebook and Instagram, if you want really, truly up-to-the-date information, we're posting on that as much as possible.
And be sure to check out this segment, Dry January Outstanding Mocktails in the Pocono Mountains, on the January 2025 episode of Pocono Mountains Magazine. You can learn more over at PoconoTelevision.com. And I think, Eric, the best way to end this segment is to do a little cheers and enjoy our mocktails.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Cheers. Thanks for having
Appreciate
us.
Mocktails at the Frogtown Chop House. Find out more about where you can get cocktails or mocktails and a great meal with friends and family at PoconoMountains.com. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. We'll have a new episode each week, highlighting lots of the fun things you can experience while you're visiting the Poconos. Subscribe and leave a review and or comment on whatever platform you listen. Pocono Television Network is everywhere you are, including broadcast, cable, and streaming. For a full list, go to PoconoTelevision.com, including WDPN 2.8 in Philly and Wilmington, and WLZH 18.6 in Harrisburg, Lancaster, York. Blue Ridge Cable Channel 734 in the Poconos, as well as other PA locations. Service Electric throughout NEPA, LHTC Broadband, Astound TV, and adding more cable systems all the time. Download the PTN app on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android, Google, and smart TVs too, where you can watch PTN, the Pocono Television Network, anytime at PoconoTelevision.com. We're back. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. I'm Jim Hamill. Now for a Pocono Mountains Podcast Extra. For those who want to match up an outdoor adventure with a stop at the brewery in Jim Thorpe, Deanna hit the trail for a hike with the brewer at Bright Path. Here's a listen to that segment from a past Pocono Mountains magazine. Enjoy.
We have so many different types of trails that you can enjoy any season in the Pocono Mountains. Today we're going to check out two very different trails, one of our hiking trails and a stop on our beverage trail. Come along with me on this adventure, Trails and Nails. So I'm here with my friend Kate and Alex from Bright Path Brewery. So I asked Alex because he's an avid hiker, a trail runner. You like to take the bikes out on the trails. Kate is also an avid hiker, to pick some trails for us to check out today. So where are we?
We're at the Tank Hollow Trail, just outside of Jim Thorpe.
So what made you pick this trail for us?
It's a nice, easy trail for all levels, and the payoff is pretty awesome.
So I like that you're saying good for everyone. So it's a beginner starter trail. So if you're not a big hiker and you're just kind of looking for a walking trail with a good view, this one's it. You ready to check it out?
So ready.
Okay, let's go. What makes you get out on the trails, especially the ones here in the Pocono Mountains?
I think part of it is just enjoying the outdoors. Like, you get to see all the different seasons. I think it helps in many ways, you know, physically, emotionally, all that kind of stuff. I just think it's like a well-rounded thing to do.
Yeah, and I love what you said about the seasons, because I feel like you can go on the same trail and it's never the same. Like, you're always going to see something different. In the summer, in the spring, in the fall, the leaves are changing. It's like, it's always so pretty.
Yeah, it's beautiful all year round, which is great. You know, whether there's snow on the ground or the leaves have just fallen, or, you know, spring is in bloom. It's cool.
Yeah. So what gets you out on the trails? I know you love to go hiking with friends or sometimes by yourself. What's your favorite trail and why do you go?
I go because it's very grounding and therapeutic for me to be surrounded by nature, all the different sounds and the feel of your feet on a trail. Of course, the views are awesome too. Yeah. I would say it's hard to pick just one trail because the Pocono Mountains has so many amazing trails that offer so much.
Wow. Oh my goodness, you were not kidding. This is amazing.
Pretty cool.
Wow. So we made it to the top. This view is absolutely amazing. You did not disappoint with your suggestion, so thank you. It's definitely breathtaking. I could sit here all day. So one thing that we were talking about is ales, and I know that a lot of people like to treat themselves after an outdoor activity to a nice cold beverage, so we're gonna visit your brewery soon, huh?
Yeah, we can go back, we'll have a couple pints, it'll be good.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
So now we're here at your brewery.
Yep.
Bright Path. So number one, where did that name come from?
So Bright Path is actually Jim Thorpe's native name translated to English.
What do you want to tell viewers that have never been to Jim Thorpe, never been to the area, about the area and about the brewery?
Oh man, I mean, Jim Thorpe in general is just such a beautiful place. You know, we have all this amazing scenery, a lot of history, not just with Jim Thorpe himself, but with the town prior to that.
Well, thank you guys so much for today. Thank you for the beer. This is amazing. Kate, thanks for coming today. I hope you guys had fun. Cheers. So for more information on all the trails throughout the Pocono Mountains, all the breweries, don't forget Bright Path is on our beverage trail, so you can check that out on PoconoMountains.com. I'm Deanna Fontanez for the Pocono Television Network. Cheers.
Bright Path Brewing, a great stop after a hike at any of our great trails here in the Poconos. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Pocono Mountains Podcast. Please remember to subscribe anywhere podcasts are available. Come visit us in the Pocono Mountains. Plan your trip today.